Okay, so regarding this before and after that I showed yesterday, you can go to my video that I posted yesterday to see more, but I want to talk about Darcy. And I also want to expand and address a lot of your questions, your concerns, your thoughts. So many thoughts yesterday on this makeover. Okay, so let's talk about it. First of all, let's talk about the comments that were rolling in initially, which is, yes, Darcy is 67, okay? Now, for this particular event, I had women, it was my glow up event. I had a huge glow up event in LA at the beginning of May. I had a house in the Hollywood Hills. I had brought in all my celebrity glam squad friends from my old days back when I was a celebrity stylist. We used to all do red carpet stuff together and do celebrities for magazine spreads and all that. So I gathered up my favorite people, and women flew in from all over the United States and Canada, and they spent a whole weekend with me, and we did this glamorous photo shoot. So the glow up, I'll have another one probably next year. All right, that's the honest answer. Let's talk about age and lying about your age and your height and all these things that seem to upset so many of you yesterday, okay? All right, so first of all, yes, Darcy is 67, okay? And she's living in LA. So a couple of things you guys need to know. You have to keep in mind, and you have to dress and look the look to attract the person you want to call in. So showing up on the dating apps, people don't know you. There is zero context when you show up on the dating apps, right? So you show up with low-level photos that like friends might think, oh, she looks cute today. Not good enough for people that do not know you at all. They don't know how gorgeous you're going to look when you show up for a date, when you really try hard. They don't know, how your personality can shine when you really need it to, right? So you've got to step up your game. So with Darcy, yes, she's 67. Why am I talking about the age? Because you guys made such a big freaking deal of it yesterday, because I made the decision to put on her new dating profile that she's 63. Why? I'm going to tell you. Okay, here's why. Because when you are 67, and most of those commenters, probably all of them, are nowhere near 67, when you get into the mid-50s, the 60s, the 67. Now, if you're 67 showing up at a dating app, men aren't even looking for 67-year-old women. Why? Because they think 70. You hear 67, they think 70, okay? They think gray-haired old grandma knitting in the corner. That's not Darcy. Darcy doesn't show up like a gray-haired grandma knitting in the corner. She owns a production company. She's a badass. She's got her own stuff going on. She meditates. She's one of the coolest women I've ever met, okay? But this picture certainly didn't do her justice as a sweet, normal woman. She's not a sweet, normal woman. She's a badass, okay? So lowering the age to 63 is a huge difference. Why? It's not a huge lie. She's not tricking anybody, making them think she's going to have babies with them, okay? When you're past the baby age doesn't really matter at that point. Men do not care about the number as much as they care about how you look for the number. Now, I know you're going to say, well, if men don't care about the number, why are you lying about the number, Gina? Because men will not be searching for women who are close to 70 if they are young, like she is, looking for her age, fit, relevant, and amazing. If a man is young for his age, fit, relevant, and amazing, he's thinking there's no chance in hell there's a woman that's 67 that's going to look like Darcy, okay? That is why we dropped her age only by 4 years, which is no difference, no big difference. The only difference is now she'll appear on people's search radar. I get so passionate about this, I get wound up. Now she will appear on their radar, whereas being part of an early 60s versus almost 70, huge difference when it comes to people searching for you, and that is why we fudged the age by 4 years. But the key is, if you are going to fudge your age, come clean in the bio, okay? Come clean, which we did. At the bottom of her bio, it says, and I'm actually 67. But the key is, guess what? She's going to show up looking like her pictures, okay? She's going to be able to deliver on what she looks like. Most people do it the opposite. Most people put their real age and use old pictures. So when you show up, you're never going to match people's expectations. Darcy's going to match their expectations. So therefore, 63 or 67 does not matter. Now, somebody asked about height. A guy was like, well, what about my height? Could I do the same thing? No, you cannot do the same thing about your height. Why? Because it's all about showing up and delivering based on people's expectations, okay? So the men that are meeting Darcy aren't going to card her because they don't care at that point. As long as she shows up looking like this, and she will, that's all they care about, okay? But if you're a man lying about your height, when you show up, you're going to see this. Maybe not this. Maybe in their mind, they're like this. Because if a woman likes a tall guy or a guy that needs to be a certain height, and listen, I hate that for you guys. It sucks. I personally like short guys. I always have. I don't have a height thing, thank God. Because women who do, it's a harder search for them. But anyway, it sucks for you guys, but you cannot lie about your height. Why? Because you cannot deliver. That is what is most important. That's why the AI stuff sucks, because it's all about being phony and get people on the hook thinking this is who you're going to show up to be. But if you cannot show up as advertised, okay? And this is how she's advertising, this is how she's going to deliver. Doesn't matter her age at that point. Men are like, take you. You just look great. That's all I care about. But as a guy, if you show up and you say you're this tall and you're this tall, it's not going to go well for you. And now you're wasting everybody's time. So as long as your pictures match exactly what you're going to look like, don't hide your body. Don't use filtered. Don't use AI. Don't create this false narrative of a background, of a lifestyle that you could possibly never live up to, because that will never work. It's all about, screw all that, be phony and get somebody on the hook. Try it. See how that works out for you. Okay? Try it. It's all about how you're actually going to show up in person. This is why you need the very best photos, but how you're really going to look. Great lighting. You can do it yourself or you can get a professional photographer, but you've got to have great lighting. You got to be bringing the vibes, feeling the energy, dressing your best, and not phoning it in with average, low-level, average person photos. Because you guys sit around and you go, I only attract little gross people I don't want to meet. Because your photos look low-level and average, all right? Okay, so stop worrying about the age. It's not about the age unless you're in the baby-making category. You don't want to dupe a guy if he's ready to start a family and you're in your early 40s and you're lying and saying you're down in your 30s, okay? That I have an issue with, because you're getting somebody on the hook who has an expectation of starting a family, whereas early 40s, you may or may not can at that point, okay? But if you're way past the baby-making years, the age doesn't necessarily matter. Now, let's talk about guys really quick. Boy, this is a long one today. Have you hung with me? I don't know. For men, when they're lying about their age, if the motivation is they want women who are just fit and relevant and, keep themselves up the way they do, fudging by a few years, I don't have a problem with 4. I'd say 4 is the maximum number to fudge your age. Any more than that, and it's a really hard lie to come back from because it's just such a big lie, right? Those men that say they want kids because they want to date younger or make their age younger to date younger women, and then they use old pictures, no bueno, all right? So I'm not an advocate of lying for lying's sake or lying for purposes that aren't ethical. But when it comes to just fudging your age a little, so you get on the radar of the people that you actually want to meet and have access to, and you're using authentic photos that accurately represent you, because if your photos are good, another thing is you have to make sure to put photos are recent. Like, I look like my photos, because sometimes when your photos are too good, people think there's no way you're going to look like that. So if you do look like that, make sure you put that line in your bio. Pictures are recent. This is what I really look like. All right, guys. Have we talked enough about this? I hope it helps.